One thing that really was interesting this year, for the first time ever, we've broken 40,000 million-dollar one-person businesses, and it's been inching up. It's up about 50% since 2011. Fact check my math on that, but that's the approximate. And the top category was professional services, which is really interesting, right? Because we always hear you can't trade time for dollars, right? But somehow these folks are navigating that challenge and becoming very successful. And what I found in my reporting is they're coming up with very interesting business models to get around that. So they're not charging, some of them charge very high hourly fees, but they're leveraging their assets. They're one entrepreneur who is in the new version of the book, Chad Patchke, is a consultant in the oil and gas industry. And what he does is basically help refineries not blow up. And he's got a team of very specialized professionals who do that same sort of work. And he did something very counterintuitive. A lot of companies try to downsize their baby boomers because they're usually at the top of the salary range. But he realized in his field that expertise trumped everything else. And the companies that he serves will pay any amount to make sure that the refinery doesn't blow up and their employees are not hurt, et cetera. So his top paid, he brought on a bunch of pre-retirees, basically, who wanted to scale back on their corporate life. And he bills them out at very high hourly rates. His top consultant is in his 70s, and he bills them out at $350 an hour. And so that was how he got to $1 million and beyond. Another entrepreneur in the book, Steve Ferreira, is an auditor who catches mistakes on shipping bills. And I know Alicia has met him. He's got a lot of flourish to his business. He's not your typical auditor at all, but he's great at what he does. He did that as his corporate career, and then he stepped outside. And what he does differently from other auditors is he does not charge by the hour. He charges a commission of 50% of the error. And when JCPenney orders 50,000 shirts and there's an error, it's $250,000. So he gets 50% of that and then helps to collect it. And so he's at just under 2 million in revenue because of that business model. So that's one of the things I think is the greatest area of innovation, is this area that seemed kind of stagnant in revenue has turned out to not be, because people are applying their creativity to it. Another thing I found, and I think both Angie and Alicia can speak to this, is during COVID, a lot of businesses really came to a temporary standstill, and everything they were doing stopped working. You know, it could have been a supply chain issue. It could have been consumers afraid to use their services, or meetings stopped, which they still kind of have, except for virtual meetings like this. And they had to pivot. And I updated the book with a lot of stories of how they actually navigated around this. And it's just fascinating.